bon dia. Good morning.
Good morning.
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
And bonjour.
Bonjour.
5 different languages, 5 different ways to say, I see you and I respect you. And what's the essence of the leadership? What's the essence of the people first approach? Respect, isn't it? I think that we will all agree as coaches, leaders, doctors, psychologists, that the essence of a human being is to be respected. So the reason why I don't have a PowerPoint presentation, we've been all in that Monday morning meeting where the motivation dies after the first PowerPoint slide, right? I'm not that person. So my motivation is to keep you motivated and to keep you motivated to learn something from me. Because what is my duty and obligation? To teach you something, right? So I'm not here to give you some boring topics that you will not going to be able to use afterwards. And even though I may be younger than some of you, I still think that there is some parts, especially from the industry where I'm coming from, that I'm capable to, let's say, transfer that knowledge to somebody else. So I would like to start with a story, a personal story, about a woman, about myself, living in 100% man industry, and that's cybersecurity. How many of you knows precisely what cybersecurity industry does? Very few hands. And that's something that I was facing through the last 12 years. Even I needed to explain to my family and friends what I am doing as an HR, as an executive headhunter. Oh, let's step first of all to that part. I was facing even with the questions from some of my friends where people were, let's say, stopping me and they were just like, you are a headhunter? What that means? You are hunting people? What you're doing then with them? Even my daughter, this is the funniest part. My daughter, let's say, was in the kindergarten, she was 5 years old, and they had the practice of what your parents are doing for a living, right? And they were presenting it, and it was her turn, and she was just like, well, my father is a hairdresser. Everyone knows what a hairdresser does. But my mom, and then she became quiet, and she said, my mom is selling people. Guess what? Teacher called me to the kindergarten immediately. Andjela, you have to come. Maggie said something horrible. I have to talk to you. And I was like, fine, what she did? Maybe she cursed someone. I don't know what she did, right? I came there and she asked me, I'm sorry, I have to ask you what you are doing for a living. And I was like, I'm a headhunter. And then she was staring at me and she was like, headhunting. She said that she's selling people. This is human trafficking for sure. And I was like, listen, what she told you, she said that you are selling people. And you are right now telling me that you are a headhunter. I'm sorry, I just don't understand. And I started laughing and I was like, listen, I am hunting people, that's how we are calling it, because I'm searching for them on the web, on LinkedIn, on Zing, on GitHub, on GitLab, on every possible platform. I'm searching for experts to make them happy because I will place them in a company who needs that talent, where at the end of the day, I will make company happy, but I will make that person happy as well. And that's headhunting. But the tricky piece is because my job, it's kind of a sales as well, right? Whenever I place someone successfully in the company, I just enter my living room and I said, yes, I sold him. And that's the piece where she started thinking that I'm selling people. And then teacher understood everything and she was just like, you are actually making people happy. And I said, yes, I'm making people happy. And the reason why I scaled and why I developed myself apart from headhunting into an HR and being and owning the full cycle of the people-centric approach, it's because of people. And because of that happiness and those smiles that I'm seeing on their faces, every time when I discuss the role with them and I see that excitement and that little smile which is juggling there, which is saying like, yes, I want to work for that company. And also whenever I place them successfully in the company and then the CEO comes and says, this guy or a girl, whenever we have it, because we are rare, then they say, this is a perfect placement, a perfect person who will help us to scale the company. But unfortunately, this is the tricky piece. In technology industry, especially in cybersecurity, we are all sales related. Everything is about sales, about exponential targets, about growth constantly, and then founders who are CEOs, who are usually techie guys, which means deep tech engineers, where we all are pretty aware that they are introvert. And then on the other side, we have sellers, because without sellers, there's no successful industry of cybersecurity. If you don't sell your product, there's nothing, right? Sellers with their really high ego and really extrovert people. And then what's your role as a people person? Because I'm a people person. And I don't like where people are calling me HR, because that human resources term, that's sometimes more related to the policies. And I see even how some of my employees right now are looking at me and telling me like, yeah, you are definitely the most humanized HR, because we faced with some HRs who are just strict to the policies. And that's a wrong thing, because we are not policy makers, we are not policemen. Even though I still have some employees in the company who are threatening each other with me. They are just like saying like, okay, we have an issue, not a problem. Next week, let's organize a meeting, you, me, and Andjela, and we will solve the problem. And then there is a reaction. No, there's no issue. You don't have to call her, everything is fine. But at the end of the day, why I am telling you this, it's because I'm working with founders, with the CEOs, that they change their approach into the people-centric approach. Which means that they start listening to their people. And that instead of demanding growth and performance, that they start with trust. Because most of the companies, especially in the tech industry, they forget about trust. They are demanding that you come to that stage where they will trust you. But how about the piece where I will trust you? Because I have to work for your company, I have to scale your company. That means that that trust has to be between us. So I have to trust you so you can be able to trust me, isn't it? So instead of going from the performance, growth, trust, the real principle, it's setting the baseline with trust, then going into the growth phase, where in the growth phase, you have to give something to your people. You have to give them training, you have to give them resources, you have to give them career goals, career growth, career possibilities. And then performance will just come naturally, it will just flow. Because the people will change their mindset. They will not work for your company, they will work with your company. And when they change that approach and start working with you, not just for you, that's the part where that exponential growth is happening. Because they think that you see them. They know that you respect them, and we started with that respect, my speech this morning, right? And they know that their opinion matters. And when people know that their opinion matters and that they are not only just a number in the company, you can't imagine what they can achieve. But now I would like to ask you the question, because whenever I'm working with any CEO and whenever I'm asking them a question, what is your, let's say, biggest asset in your company? They are all saying our people. So the question to you right now, just raise your hands. How many of you have heard founders, owners your clients, that they are saying people are our greatest asset. But how many of you believe that they live by that statement and that that's actually true? You see? None. And that gap, that's actually where the problem begins. Because what we say and what we do are two different things. But I would also like to ask you that sometimes you ask yourself, is there somewhere our fault as well because they are not approaching their people as their greatest asset? Because maybe sometimes by coaching and teaching them and trying to change as much as possible things at the same time, we also forget that people are our greatest asset. So there is a framework. I got recently certified, so I am the OKR certified coach. How many of you have heard about OKRs? Can you just raise your hands? 2 people? Okay, so let me give you an example and then we can do the exercise. So OKR framework, or objectives and key results, it's the powerful performance framework which is setting up the strategy from the boardroom, taking it outside of the boardroom and sharing it with everyone. And giving, let's say, every single employee in the company an opportunity to own a piece of a strategy of the company. And trust me, when people own the piece of the strategy, when they see their fingerprint on it, you can't imagine what they can do and what they would do. So I will give you an example right now, and then I would like that we do a short test. So the objective, it's something that we want to achieve, like a goal, a milestone. But then from the objective perspective, we have moonshots and roof shots. So the moonshot, it's something which is 100% aspirational. That's kind of my illusion. So it gives a little bit of a dreaming aspect. And the roof shot, it's something which is 100% achievable. So you need to set up an achievable result. So something, because if you don't have 100% of the achievement there, that roof shot, it's not successful, right? So to give you an example, my moonshot would be, I would like in the upcoming year to become that influential like Simon Sinek. That will be my moonshot, right? So that's not realistic, right? In a short period of time, you can't do that. At the same time, Simon Sinek, it's really, really, really well known. The second one, the roof shot, would be more realistic, which might be, I would like to become an influential speaker in the people first leadership, where my audience on LinkedIn will grow to 100,000 followers by the end of next year. And I know that that's realistic because I know what are the key results that I will set up in front of myself, so I will go there. So right now, let's take a look on the key results. If we have an objective, right, that's the goal where we would like to go. That's something that we would like to achieve, our milestone. Key results are steps how to get there. So what I will do so I can achieve my objective. So in this case, if I take a look on my roof shot, I would say I would be speaking in the next 1 year on more than 10 conferences related to leadership, HR, and coaching and mentoring by the end of next year. So why I am putting a framework there, why I am, let's say, putting it to be time-bound, because every key result has to be SMART, which means specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. And then I will set up the second key result. What will be my second key result? So if I have those conferences, but I still have to, let's say, increase the number of my followers on LinkedIn, right? What I will do? I would be sharing my story, not only, let's say, through the communities of the, let's say, leadership conferences, HR conferences, and etc. I would be publishing 2 LinkedIn posts per week till the end of next year, where I would be including all the content that I have, right? So right now, I would give you couple of minutes. I still think that I have 7 minutes left. So you have 2 minutes, and I would like you to write down one of your personal objectives, so something that you really want to achieve, and to write down 2 key results which will help you to get there.
I think how I can motivate myself is by understanding the opportunities that will come up if I learn another language. Because I look around this room and so many people speak different languages, and there's so many different opportunities that come up for them that I don't have. So when I do speak other languages, that opens me up to have conversations that I can't have and learn from other people, learn their perspectives. And that's something that I want to do. So that is something that when I do begin, that's something that can keep me motivated.
Great one. Thank you for sharing. So, my strong recommendation, approach things in your life through the OKR framework, and you will see that your productivity will be increased, because through the OKRs you are focusing on what matters. What companies are usually doing, they are focusing on so many things at once, and then they are missing the core part, and that's, let's say, people. So through the OKR framework, we are building people-centric companies. So I would like to give you an example from one of my previous customers, where, let's say, their turnover hit 50% over just 1 year. So a lot of people started leaving. And when I spoke with the CEO, he just said, no worries, we will just hire more. Just hire new people constantly. But I wasn't able to hire that fast because we were bleeding talent all the time. And people who were carrying culture, the entire knowledge base of the company, they left first. And their customers didn't feel that something is happening internally for a certain period of time. It was around about 6 months until we keep continue scaling and scaling. But then even customers started feeling that something is happening internally and that our people are leaving. They started questioning, they started asking why John, for example, it's not anymore my seller. Why you replace it with Chris? Where are your people? What is happening? So basically, if the companies are not valuing their people and not proceeding in the people-centric approach, their customers start feeling it and they start leaving. And that's not impacting only your internal culture, it impacts the way how you approach the market. Because your competitors, they can copy your product, they can copy your pricing, they can copy your go-to-market strategy even, but they can't copy your product. I mean, unless you fail and you let them go, and then they can steal them from you. And then they can copy everything that you have. So, because my time is up, I would like, let's say, to finalize my speech for this morning with, whenever you think that you need to demand something from a human being, first of all, put yourself in their shoes and think about it from the perspective, what I would need. What is what I need? I want to be seen, I want to be valued, I want to be respected. So I want to share that same story with the person who is coming and who is meeting me on a lunch, on a dinner, being my employee or my client. Thank you so much.
Thank you.